What's up guys, Sub-Zeric here, back for another VOD review, and look, I've been climbing to try to make snapshots for Tactician's Cup number 2. I think I'm at a good spot here, 678 LP around rank 100 NA, so I think I'm in a pretty good spot for that, and one of the comps that is helping me even climb a lot, this is filtered just for Veigar here, is Veigar, obviously. Ignore this random 6th game, this game was this game was a tragedy, but I mean, these games, and then even this doesn't count because, well, no, yeah, this is a Veigar game as well. You can see, my scores on Veigar are pretty good, so I want to VOD review one of the games that I just played, playing around Veigar, and showing you guys how to hard force Veigar from an okay spot. Because look, we start the game with Trainer Golems. It is Hunter, Mage, and Bastion here, and from rip, I'm already like, I'm down to play Veigar from this spot here. I really want to just play Veigar from this spot. And so I want to show you guys kind of how to optimize the Veigar line, what items to build and those kind of things, and all of that. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy this this me VOD review, which I do every once in a while. I guess I'll also take this time to say I'm not promoting anything, so don't click off the video. You can already see I pick up these mages, so I'm like interested in playing Veigar. But I'm gonna be on vacation starting Friday. I'm gonna try to pre-record VOD reviews for all of you guys. But yeah, I'm gonna be on vacation for about a week, which means a little bit into the new patch, I am going to be gone. But I'll try to record as much as I can. All right. So our starting items are not bad. Tear, Cloak, and Chain Vest here. But I see Pandora's items, and I say it's a Veigar game. We have mages already. There's a couple people with mage +1, but no one who seems like hard committed to it yet. So this is actually important, but you guys can't see because my head's up here. I call mage in chat, and then I take Pandora's, and we're in there. This is also a fantastic first shop. We pick up the Lilia 2 and the Soraka 2, so we can play around Soraka, and the Seraphine, actually, that we can hold on to as well. And we get tier here. So let's talk Veigar items. Blue buff is one of Veigar's best items. You can essentially go blue buff. Also level here makes sense because like our board's pretty strong. We have we can get Vanguard in for our Galio. But yeah, blue buff is one of Veigar's best items. Here we can actually do a little bit of a stats dive here onto Explorer. So let's pull this up. Pull up the Veigar, search Veigar 3-star with 3 items. And if you just look at items straight up, you can see blue buff is one of his better items and most frequently built. And if you also go to builds, you see a lot of blue buff and a lot of Nashor's Tooth. What surprised me, people told me this, and I realized that I was pulling up OBS when I shouldn't be. I realized that triple mana Veigar is actually like really strong. Blue buff Nashor Shojin is probably his BIS. You can see here really good negative delta. You can also obviously throw in stuff like a JG and a Death Cap. Death Cap I think might be a slightly better than JG, but about the same, honestly, statistically. So this is Veigar itemization. We'll talk later about Vex itemization here, but let's just start with Veigar itemization so we can keep things reasonable for us. So blue buff, a really good early summon to Veigar. The dream, like I said, if you look at the statistics, is blue buff Nashor's Shojin and just triple mana. And then you're getting a bunch of AP from the fact that, Veigar generates AP from his passive. Also, maybe if you get to higher levels of mage, like 7 mage, then you're getting some AP there. So it's enough for him to just pop off. Also, obviously, he's double casting with mage. This fight is actually so sad. Like, I thought this fight was chill. There is a little sadness about item holding Soraka. And I want to talk about just kind of this comp in general. Like, look at this fight, man. The Namzi lives on 1 HP. It's so tragic, but it's fine. It's not the end of the world. But one of the things that I want to talk about with this comp is the fact that I hit a Galio too, because I'm a beast. Is that, prior to this patch, this comp had a really high cap. But a really trash early game. You had a great cap, but stuff like Seraphine was quite bad early. Stuff like Soraka was quite bad early on early patches of the set. Now, you still have quite a strong late game. It's not as broken. They did nerf Veigar scaling a little bit, but it's still game winning in a lot of circumstances if you get to 3-item Veigar, 3-item Vex, and 3-star them both. But you have a much better early game. I would say this early game, 3 mage is actually quite strong if you find something like a Seraphine 2, even a Soraka 2. Seraphine 2 is definitely better. As you'll see this game, Soraka has a little bit, she struggles a little bit in some of these fights, but she's still a monster. Off carousel here, I'm actually going to go for this rod here. Rod is another item. Now we can start to talk about like Vex itemization that is really, really core on Vex. So here, let me pull up Vex itemization as well, and we can talk about that. We can even leave the Veigar in the filters here to help give us some more information. So if you look at just Vex, quote unquote BIS, it's almost always Spark. Crown Guard is also very, very good Delta, and then it's usually 1/3 tank item. I've heard even the idea of going Crown Guard. I mean, here we can actually pull up because I think it's Spark, Crown Guard certainly, and then the third item is actually kind of debatable to me. Yeah, I heard the idea of Crown Guard, Spark, which I mean, honestly, the stats really support. Something like a Val looks very good as well. Something like a Gargoyles looks really, really good as well. Probably Gargoyles, Crown Guard, Spark is BIS Vex. But you can see that you need a lot of rods, right? You need a rod for Crown Guard, you need a rod for Spark here. So we're going to take this rod in this situation and consider using it for frontline. Now, we roll into a glove here, and like I talked about earlier, glove is quite a solid item on Veigar. So the idea here, actually, especially, you know, we don't have a weak board by any means, is that we can just make a JG here and play for streak. Now, I was sitting in call with Demacian Raptor, oftentimes rank 1 EUNE, and he made the call to actually slam this JG here, because like I was like, ugh, I mean, like we have Pandoras, we can just greed for good items, but Raptor is like the least greedy player of all time. He loves slamming items like this in a spot like this, and I think in hindsight it makes a lot of sense, right? You know, we already have the Straka 2, we can play for that. It's not bad by any means here. Also, we didn't level last round, which I kind of got dizzy on the items, but we don't really have anything to level for, so it's fine. And here's this rod, saving this rod, like I talked about, right? You want to save this rod here so that you can look for rod items for Vex. You want that Crown Guard and that Spark, and maybe even another Spark if you think that is BIS. So we want to hold on to these. We also want to hold on to the Nunu. Nunu will very likely be one of the +1 units that we play on this board late game, because we already have Bastion on the dummy, so it's actually pretty good. Okay, so we naturally level up here. We've got Seraphine in. Now we're really just waiting to find a Veigar or a Vex here, and our board will be amazing, right? The idea is that we could put Nunu in over the Lilia, level for Vex, and then we would have 5 Mage on 6, which we, you know, very, very nice here. We already have Galio too, so we don't care about all these extra units. We don't really get too much. We get a sword plus a tier here, and we opt to make Shojin here. This is another really, really smart call. Making Shojin in this spot, you know, it's in my head, looking at statistics before, I thought that you needed Nashers, but honestly, Shojin is so good, even just with the blue buff here. The idea being that Veigar is now just chain casting a bunch of times. Blue buff accelerates him casting, and the Shojin actually does multiply on that. So Shojin here, fantastic. And it's a third item, right? This is going to save us so much HP across the course of the game. So saving the Shojin here, huge. And so we have almost BIS, right? Blue buff Shojin Nashers is quote-unquote BIS, but blue buff Shojin and then any third item I think is fine, and JG's quite good. JG's good, Deathcap's good. You probably don't want to go anything else. Second augment here, these are all dog. These are all horrible augments, so hopefully we don't have to take these. We get long distance pals and support golem. LDP is okay in the stats. Support golem is better in the stats, and also LDP is just like, yeah, it's not very good. It's too hard to position, right? I think that game that I showed you guys where I actually went 6 on mages was an LDP game where I just ended up losing so much value because I would just like lose my LDP randomly, something bad would happen, and yeah, my life would be tragic. Okay. So the only bad thing about this spot, we have Soraka 2, we have like Galio 2 and stuff, which is cool. The bad thing about this spot is look at our econ. We're 50 gold here, and we're not even leveling on to level 6 here because it's so, like, we'd be so broke doing it, essentially. This is the downside to our spot, is that we made so many 2-star units early, but we didn't actually keep our streak. We're losing a lot of these fights. We lost that fight on 2-2. And that's what happens, right? When you make something like a 2-star Galio and then you lose, you will end up broke in spots like this. So I'm just saying, okay, I'm not going to level here to level 6. I'm probably going to level to 6 after Carousel here, just to keep as much econ as possible. And then I'm not going to go level 7, probably until 4-1. And then at 4-1, hopefully I can, you know, find the rest of my board and have a good game. But I'm liking our items at this point. These are really, really solid Veigar items already. We have this rod open here. I really want to make a slam. Spark is the go-to slam here, of course, because you need MR Shred on this board. And, you know, Spark is more preferable than something like Static Shiv, because Veigar, especially with this build, is going to basically be insta-casting. So it's possible that we won't actually proc Shiv fast enough. Also, Veigar front-to-back unit. So, you know, something like a Spark is really, really good with front to back units because, you know, you only care about shredding the front line. So yeah, trying to figure out what to put in here. I think I end up just throwing a Galio onto the board because he's at least CC and a random Soraka one. Like, is she going to do anything here? But yeah, I'm a little low now, 68 HP. Upside here, boom, look at the Soraka. Double cast of one taps that Katarina. They're so clumped for me here, and the Lilia survives here. Like, I'm not even that much of a sleeper on this not Katarina, but on this Soraka unit. I feel like Soraka is actually like serviceable. Seraphine though is where it's at. I feel like Seraphine is a monster in the early game, though sadly we didn't get to itemize her this game. But yeah, still just sitting on my level 6 with not too much gold, an okay amount of HP, but you know, a scary spot nonetheless. Oh, I didn't call it out by the way, but you know, I'm getting up there in Challenger. This is a stacked lobby. We got Marcel P, Amdi, Bertosaurus. These are all like very, very strong players. And then these other names like Renzer, Slingshot, like these are names I see a lot in Challenger. So you know, like we're getting those stacked lobbies. But yeah, I mean, look at the Soraka here. She actually crits so much. Like, I feel like she actually kind of does work. Also, this is SYZ Vanboy that we're fighting here. Yeah, with all these Zillions here. But yeah, I mean, at this point, we're gonna pre-level up. We need to find ideally a 5th mage, ideally the Veigar, and I mean, ideally, like 7 mage if we're a beast, right? We just need to find all the other mages. Hold this rod here for frontline. There is this Veigar. I opt to not take Treasure Hunter because I don't think it's very good. Nora early. I won't say that I'm not a high roller. That is a giga high roll here. And we find Nami in our shop here. So we are in an amazing spot now. I see the Nami really late, but I do get 7 mage in at the last second here. So we get this, and then we rod the Lilia. So yeah, I would say it kind of balances out. Okay, it doesn't really balance out that much, but we didn't see a Veigar up until now, so that's kind of low roll. But obviously finding the Nora on 7 is giga high roll. But hey, sometimes you hit a Nora on 7, and sometimes you're a beast. Let's look at last augment here. Blossoming Lotus is actually a pretty solid option. We already have JG, but like crit strike chance is good. But Unified is actually so good in this spot because we have 2 dummies already. So like getting Unified value onto both the dummies, and it's really easy to get Unified here. So I think Unified just makes too much sense. Every round we want to take a solid charm here. So yeah, we're just gonna roll every single round for a charm. And yeah, we think about trapping the dummy here like this. Apparently this doesn't work anymore. I think they fixed the bug with Nora or with Yumi where she blocks frontline, because I tried, you know, like frontlining Yumi and stuff. I guess they bug fixed her probably in that patch where they bug fixed everything else. But yeah, we actually get some solid components here, but still I really, you know, I want to look for my my other slams here. Also, you will note that my units are still kind of fucked up here. I still have the Nami frontlined, so yeah, this is not good. I finally pick up the Vex here, which is huge. I can play Nunu 2 for Bastion here, get my frontline all centered up here. Now that I have Vex Pair here, it makes a lot of sense to roll down even to something like 30 gold, because I do need Vex 2 to stabilize my board a lot, and I do have the Crown Guard, so I can make this. But yeah, I think if I were to replay this game after looking at the stats, I maybe would consider saving this tier here for an adaptive helm, or looked for something like a gargoyle here, because the statistics actually really like those over double crown guard. It makes sense. Like you often are kind of wasting double crown guard shielding. So yeah, like it's a bit much. So yeah, maybe I would just keep this tier here and then hope that I can get a chain off carousel, which I would have actually gotten, I think. Yeah, I would have. We do opt to just take the Vex here, which I think makes a lot of sense. We have Pandora's here, so just getting another Vex makes a lot of sense. So I guess I was always taking that. Another Veigar 2 is nice. Life insurance is not bad either, because we're a little bit broke in a spot like this. We're not so broke, but we are only 6 Veigars. So we'd really like to find some more. But overall, the spot's looking very good. 7 mage is quite strong. Hitting the Nora was, you know, obviously very good. We could have just, you know, thrown the Soraka onto the board if we didn't have Nora, but obviously Nora juicing up Veigar's AP. You basically always put it onto Veigar. The AP is so good on him, especially with something like a JG and these items that make him cast so much. And just like, I feel like this Veigar unit's such a monster, man. Like, we almost win this fight. I feel like this board, I would get like 10-0'd in previous patches, but now with the buffs to mages, with the buffs to Veigar, it's like actually not bad. Never take Conjure Emblem in this spot. You are just griefing your game here. So I'm gonna opt to actually not roll any deeper here, and I'm just gonna sell the Soraka here and make 50 gold. I think it makes sense. Because we do need a decent amount of econ to hit the rest of our board. We need to find Veigar, we need to find Vex. And you see this, I put this stuff in my planner. We need to put Taric into the planner as well, which I do end up putting in now because it's Portal with Nora and Galio. So yeah, but I mean, look at this Veigar. This is a Rise 2 board that we actually beat. I mean, they're down a Comet Augment because they took Rian for Cemente. But I mean, crazy, right? We have a Cloak here. I think if I were to get anything like really, really solid here, like something like a Gargoyle or an Adaptive, I should certainly slam it in this spot here. Our items end up kind of interesting. I'll let you guys see in a second, because we get a glove here. I don't love this. We pop this, and we don't really, like, we could make Gargoyle, but we also really need anti-heal here. So we end up in a very, very sad spot here where I end up having to make red buff because I need anti-heal here. But I mean, well, we can talk about the roll down right now. These shops look very, very good for me. I end up finding a Veigar and a Vex very, very quickly because, hey, we're uncontested like a beast. And now the question is, am I making Sterax here? Okay, I was influenced by Demacian Raptor to make a Sterax here. I think what I probably should have done is just thrown Belt on Vex and then greeted for either Warmogs or Redemption here. Sterax is not so bad, actually. It's surprisingly good on a unit like Vex here. Champion Duplicator is also fantastic here because we really need Nami too. One of the biggest carries in this comp, I can't say the biggest carry because obviously the biggest carry is Veigar, but Nami is actually a fantastic carry in this comp. She does so much work. You'll see late game fights a random Nami too with, you know, your spare items. She does so much work. But yeah, like the only downside is I would be sitting with a Vex with two. I don't know. Honestly, it might even just be correct to make the Sterax here just to be strong. Because like, I don't know, I'm pretty sure I would have won this fight with 2-item Vex, and I could have greeted for something better. That's the idea, is that our board's so strong right now that we could actually even greed for Bis Vex. But yeah. We find a random Hecarim 2 in shop, and in hindsight, I'm pretty sure this is also a mistake, but once again, I got influenced by Demacian Raptor, and he's like, sell the Nunu, and I'm like, okay, all good. And then I'm like, wait, what about Honeymancy? And he's like, oh yeah, you probably do really want to play Honeymancy, especially because I can fit him. So now I put Nunu and Blitzcrank back into Planner. I mean, Arcana's fine, you know, as an extra thing to put in, but Honeymancy is just too much extra damage. So look, you live and you learn. You get some ups and some downs with having somebody yap in your ear when you play TFT. I mean, many people can attest, playing TFT with your friends talking to while you play is difficult. There is, though, a solid pickup here that can get us to Arcana, which is JG on Xerath on Carousel here. If I had a remover, I could have taken this Crown Guard. Oh, it'd be so nice, but I don't have a remover, so kind of tough. Pick up a Nami pair here, which is nice. Roll once, and I get Major Gambit here, and so the idea is, okay, actually, I'm just going to dupe this stuff and put items on Nami here, and I really, really just want to win this fight. I probably should trap the Golem versus this board. I moved the Seraphine up just because I feel like I have too much backline. And so, yeah, I just want a little bit more stuff in the front line. But yeah, I mean, Nami actually can't get that much AoE. This is actually a pretty bad fight for Nami. She probably still does okay damage. We end up sadly losing this fight. But still, that damage on the right there, that was 10k from Nami. She's no slouch here. Pick up another Nora, which is not bad. We can just take this charm because it's 1 gold. But yeah, now I'm going to trap the Golem. I think this makes a lot of sense. I can also bring Seraphine back down, which is pretty nice. And yeah, this is actually really scary. This guy ends up actually hitting 9 multi-striker, and they have items onto a Camille too, which the only upside is that, you know, Veigar is very good at one-tapping units, and if I can get the CC from Nami, I'll feel pretty good. Look at this, even the Hecarim, though, in front of my Veigar. But Veigar, still, this late in the game, too much of a monster, even for 9 multi. This is what I'm talking about, by the way. Veigar has a great early game now, but he also beats almost all of the late game boards. So it's like, you kind of have the best of both worlds with Veigar now, which is why if you get a Pandora's and you know you have a mage +1, if you're in any kind of spot to play it, I am down to just force this mage comp because it is so strong. Obviously, don't force it when you have like bad items or bad augments or something, but like when you're in a spot like this, I think this is fantastic here. I take Children for Nami. Honestly, I think what I should have done is waited to see if I could get like a remover here, but it's not so good. I do get the 2 Bs in here, which is nice. Here's a cute little optimization, by the way. Hold the Xerath on bench, right? Because of his trait, the one where he gives you the Ascendant Charms. That doesn't go away until you buy an Ascendant Charm. You can bench him and then put him back in and then get that Ascendant Charm value. You can't toggle him every round. After you have to keep him in a round to stack up that percentage chance of getting an Ascendant Charm, but because I've already had the Xerath in for 1 or 2 rounds, I can put him back in and have Ascendant Charm possibility. Phantom Emblem here is actually fantastic as well. I held onto the Soraka, another nice optimization. Now I can play 9 mage here. Boom. Now I put the mage onto Nunu, and now we're 9 mage here. It's plus, I think, 100 50%, yeah, AP. It is so insane. Look at the Veigar here, 300 AP up to 318 with the Yumi, and that's only going to go higher. You can see here, just it's like a hot knife through butter. This Veigar in these huge shapeshifters, right? These guys are so tanky, and it's light work here. Xerath back in to look for good charms. I just want something like a solid combat charm here. I get Champion Duplicator here, which allows me to actually make Nora 2, which is pretty good. So I opt to just do this, Nora 2. Nora 2 is actually really, really good because it also upgrades Yumi, which makes the Yumi like ability even stronger. So yeah, really, really good upgrade here for our board. And also maybe we can get some Nora items down the line if there's even one more fight, because look at this board, man. It wins out. The board just wins out if you get to it, and that's an easy first. That, I mean, you probably knew it was a first because of the number of firsts in my match history. But yeah, this was this last game that I just played. I mean, look, the game before it, I was trait tracker. I just got one mage. I got one mage emblem. I had a good mage opener. Boom, I played mage here. Great Veigar items. The game before that, I was over encumbered. Lost streak opener. Good mage items. Boom, we play mage. Mage is so strong right now, and I think you guys should absolutely be abusing it if you end up in a reasonable spot for it whatsoever. So, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, comment, and subscribe. Like I said, I'm gonna be on vacation starting Friday, so no streams for like a week, even though I have been streaming because I've been grinding for this. Maybe I'll stream tomorrow as like a going away goodbye stream for before my vacation. And yeah, I'll have YouTube uploads for you guys. I'll have some talkie videos, I think, maybe. Okay, goodbye.